The night was a hushed whisper, the streets cloaked in shadows and silence. Officer Ethan Carter's boots echoed softly against the pavement as he shuffled home after a grueling 12-hour shift. The air bit at his cheeks, a cold reminder of how long he'd been on his feet. But the promise of a steaming mug of coffee and the sanctuary of a warm bed spurred him onward. Just a few blocks to go, he told himself. And then, like a secret sprung from the darkness, a shape blurred out of a narrow alley and halted in his path. His hand twitched toward his holster, pulse prickling, until the streetlight overhead revealed a large German shepherd, fur matted with dust, eyes glinting with urgent desperation. A sharp bark cracked through the night, and the dog bolted a few steps before pausing to lock eyes with Ethan, as though beseeching him to follow. What could possibly be so dire? Ethan hesitated only a heartbeat before unlatching his exhaustion to curiosity. He fell in step behind Rex, whose paws clacked purposefully on the cold asphalt. They darted through the maze of dimly lit lanes, Ethan's breath fogging in the air, fatigue tugging at his limbs. But something deeper, a knot of unease, propelled him forward. The city around them seemed to hold its breath, streetlights flickering like distant stars as they wound toward their destination. Would he regret this detour, or was Rex leading him exactly where he needed to be? With a sudden pivot, Rex shot into a cramped alley, bounding up a crumbling staircase until he reached a weathered door marked 2D. There he scratched frantically, each strike a drumbeat of panic. Ethan crossed to the threshold and noticed a scrap of paper on the ground. His spine tingled as he flattened the creases. "Help! My little brother is sick. No food, no water, apartment 2D. The words, shaky and desperate, lodged in his chest like shards of glass. Children, helpless, terrified children, were trapped inside. He rapped the door with the authority of his badge. "Police! Anyone in there?" No answer, just echoes of silence. Rex's whining rose to a crescendo, scratching until the wood splintered. Adrenaline flooded Ethan's veins. He stepped back, bracing himself, and delivered a forceful kick at the lock. The door burst open with a crack that ricocheted through the stale hallway like thunder. A wave of damp, fetid air surged out, mingling with the sharp scent of fear as the hallway lights spilled into the gloom. Inside, the scene froze him. A frail boy, no older than 9, huddled in a corner, arms wrapped protectively around a tiny infant. Their hollow eyes snapped to Ethan's, fear writ large in their faces. And then Rex darted forward, sidling up beside them, offering the only comfort they'd known that night. The boy trembled, clutching the baby tighter, as if any motion might shatter their fragile world. Ethan's voice fell soft, barely above a whisper. "What's your name, kid?" But the boy's silence spoke volumes. He'd been abandoned for far too long to trust easily. A distant siren wailed, too close now, and the boy recoiled, cradling his brother as though shielding him from unseen terrors. Ethan raised his hands in reassurance. "It's okay. Help's here." A long pause pressed between them, hearts hammering in unison, until the boy's gaze flickered to Rex, and Rex responded with a gentle whine. That single sound was permission enough. The boy exhaled ever so slightly, and Ethan stepped inside. Paramedics flooded the doorway moments later, but the boy clung to his brother, refusing to let go, even as gentle hands reached out. It took Ethan's calm promise, "You can come with me. I won't leave you behind," to coax the boy from the darkness. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and worry under the harsh glare of fluorescent lights. Ethan leaned against the corridor wall, watching through the glass as Oliver, a name he'd soon learn, sat at the edge of his brother Leo's bed, eyes fixed on the tiny crib, where Leo's chest rose and fell with each fragile breath. Rex lay coiled at their feet, loyal sentinel. A soft voice broke the hush. Social worker Sarah Brooks, file in hand, her expression grave. "No family," she said. "Their mother left 2 months ago. No known relatives." The world seemed to tilt. Ethan's heart clenched. "There has to be another option," he murmured. When Sarah looked at him, eyebrows raised, he simply watched as Oliver's small fingers rested on Rex's fur and made a decision he'd never imagined. "They can come with me," 3 days later, Ethan's apartment buzzed with hesitant possibility. Rex, ever faithful, settled his broad muzzle on Oliver's knee, a silent bridge of trust. The apartment, once so empty, felt alive with cautious hope. That night, Ethan checked on them to find Oliver asleep on the floor beside Leo's crib. Rex curled over them both like a guardian statue. He didn't dare wake the boy. Instead, he draped a spare blanket over them and slipped away, quietly grieving Oliver's lack of comfort. Morning sunlight filtered through gauzy curtains as Oliver sat at the kitchen table, fork poised above a stack of pancakes. He stared at them as though expecting them to vanish if he blinked. Ethan slid into the chair across from him. "You don't have to rush," he said gently. Oliver's hand trembled before he finally lifted the fork. Each bite was a victory. That afternoon, Ethan broached the subject of school. "Tomorrow's a new place, but you'll be okay." "You've got Rex waiting for you," Oliver's silence persisted, but the way he absently stroked Rex's fur spoke of a mind slowly opening to trust. At school the next day, Oliver became a lone shadow under a tree while other children chased the sun. When 3 older boys cornered him and taunted, "Too busy saving the world, huh, cop kid?" Oliver's knuckles whitened around his fists, instinct screaming to fight. Then warmth brushed his leg, and he glanced down to see Rex standing firm, silent but steadfast. The tension ebbed from Oliver's shoulders. He exhaled, turning away from the bullies. He wasn't alone. Back home that evening, Ethan found Oliver perched on the porch, gazing into the distance. He sat beside him. "I know you wanted to fight," Ethan said. Oliver said nothing, but Ethan continued. "Protecting someone doesn't always mean throwing a punch." Oliver absorbed the words, and for the first time let courage blossom in his chest. A clumsy game of soccer in the yard brought a fleeting laugh from Oliver as Rex bounded after the ball. It was a crack in the walls he built around himself. A beginning. Then one evening, the tentative knock at the door. Ethan opened it to find a woman, thin and dishevelled, eyes flickering past him to Oliver. "Olivia! Ethan, I've been looking for you!" Oliver froze, hand tightening on Rex's leash, torn between hope and horror. Ethan hushed him. "This isn't your decision alone." The woman's apology caught in her throat. In her silence, Oliver found his answer. He shook his head and stepped back. She turned away, and this time Ethan gently closed the door. Days passed without Oliver staring out the window, waiting. He began to speak in small ways. A question about dinner. A request for more pancakes. One night, a soft knock on the counter drew Ethan to the kitchen, where Oliver stood, shirt hem in trembling hand. "Are you going to leave?" he whispered. Ethan knelt, eyes locking with Oliver's. "No, not ever." Oliver nodded, a tremor in his lip. That night, Ethan slipped an envelope onto the table. Adoption papers bearing the names Oliver and Leo Brooks. The next morning, Oliver traced the words with a trembling finger. Ethan's voice was steady. "You don't have to say yes, but if you want to, I'm ready." Oliver's breath caught as a single tear rolled down his cheek. He looked up and whispered, "Poche!" In the bright courthouse, Oliver's small hand found Ethan's. The judge smiled and asked, "Oliver Brooks, do you agree to have Ethan Carter as your legal father?" Silence stretched until Oliver lifted his chin and his voice rang out, "Yes." The gavel thunk sealed their future. Ethan lowered his gaze to find Oliver already looking up, radiant with a smile that lit the room. Ethan pulled him close, heart soaring, and Rex barked as if to herald their new family. Autumn arrived with laughter echoing through Ethan's home, tiny feet pattering across wooden floors, Rex's joyful barks, and the soft cooing of baby Leo. One evening, after tucking Leo into his crib, Ethan peeked into Oliver's room. There, under the covers, with Rex curled beside him, Oliver whispered, barely audibly, "Dad, I love you." Ethan's throat tightened as he knelt, brushing a hand through Oliver's hair. "I love you too," he replied. Rex's tail thumped in gentle accord. Their journey from the shadows into the warmth of a true family was complete, but the story lives on in each heartbeat that finds home in another, in every bark that reminds us of loyalty, and in every choice to stay. What do you think of Ethan and Oliver's journey? Has their story touched your heart? Share your thoughts below and hit subscribe to join us for more tales of love, hope, and the power of never giving up. Your subscription helps bring more meaningful stories to life. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time with another unforgettable adventure.